This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. I would like to extend a welcome to everyone. Mayor, our council members, our distinguished guest, Judge Fisher, and of course, our viewing audience at home. City of Wilmer conducted a general election on November 3rd, 2020, which resulted in the citizens re-electing one council person to their respective ward and electing new council members to wards 1, 3, and 4. As city clerk and chief official in charge of voting, I would like to take this opportunity to present to you a certificate of election. The certificate reads, I, Judy Thompson, city clerk of the city of Wilmer and state of Minnesota, do hereby certify that at a general election held in said city and state on Tuesday, being the 3rd day of November 2020, Michael O'Brien received the highest number of votes cast for the office of council member, 1st Ward. Julie Osmus received the highest number of votes cast for the office of council member, 2nd Ward. Justin Ask received the highest number of votes cast for the office of council member, 3rd Ward. And Thomas Butterfield received the highest number of votes cast for the office of council member, 4th Ward in the city of Wilmer, state of Minnesota, and was duly elected to said office as appears from the official election returns and canvass on file in my office. Congratulations to each one of you. Now I would like to introduce the Honorable Judge Jennifer Fisher to administer the oath of office.
Jennifer, you're muted.
You know, I do this all day too. I have somebody at work who does that for me to make sure that I'm not on mute. Okay, raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
Michael O'Brien.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly
that I will. All right, I'm sorry. How should we do this on Zoom? Should I say some of it and then pause and wait for all of you to say it in unison, or would you like to be individually sworn?
I think you can do it, or they can do it in unison all at the same time. So you just pause after every 4 or 5 words.
Okay, all right. Haven't done something like this on Zoom. I state your name.
Michael O'Brien.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Minnesota
and the state of Minnesota
and the Wilmer City Charter,
And the Wilmer
City Charter,
and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of the city of Wilmer
and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of the city of Wilmer
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the
to the
best
best of my judgment and ability.
help me God.
I do want to tell you that I'm not sure that that was all correct. I read it exactly as it was given to me, but I stumbled over a couple things because I'm not sure the office is of the city of Wilmer, but I think it does the trick. So congratulations, everybody, and thank you for serving everybody. And with that, I'm going to leave your meeting because I don't think you need me anymore.
Thank you,
Right.
Judge Fisher.
I would like to
Thank you,
thank you,
Judge
Judge Fisher.
You are very welcome.
Okay, with that, the office of oath has been administered, and I would like to as well welcome council members O'Brien, Osmus, Ask, and Butterfield. And we will call our meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Calvin,
Here.
Councilmember Fagerly,
Here.
Osmus,
Here,
O'Brien,
Here.
Field,
Here.
Ask,
Here, I'll try to correct the last name pronunciation is Osk, so it's
Osk.
kind of like Osmus. Yeah.
okay, sorry about that.
No problem, happens all the time.
Davis,
Here.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
9 present, 0 absent.
Could you please cover your heart and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? Will be led by Councilmember Fagerly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You're muted, Mr. Mayor.
It's going to be one of those nights for me, I believe. Tonight we will have the invocation, and we've invited Pastor John Dahl, the pastor at Bethel Lutheran Church in downtown Wilmer, to do our invocation for us to start our organizational meeting. So, Pastor Dahl.
Thank you, Mayor Calvin, and again, congratulations to all of you, those re-elected, newly elected, those returning for another year of service on our city council. It's a privilege to be with you tonight. As Mayor Calvin said, I'm Pastor John Dahl. I've lived in Wilmer on 7th Street Southwest since 2008, and I've been pastor of Bethel Lutheran Church in downtown Wilmer for the entirety of that time. My wife Sarah and I have 4 kids, all attending school in the Wilmer Public District and all very proud to call Wilmer home. So for my invocation this evening, I wanted to just share a little story with you and then close with prayer. And to cite my source for this story, it's from the Minneapolis Star Tribune and columnist Patrick Royce. And so here's the little story. In the spring of 1964, a young woman named Gordette Dubois from Hitchcock High School in South Dakota traveled with her class for a senior trip to the Twin Cities. Included in this trip was attending a Twins game at the old Metropolitan Stadium. After the game, the class decided to try and get some autographs. Well, along came Twins rookie Tony Oliva. Hailing from Cuba and still not having a good grasp of the English language, through an interpreter, Tony conveyed this message to Gordette: "I'll give you an autograph if you give me your phone number." That was that. And Gordette did not give it much more thought until she was called on the phone one night after she had returned home to South Dakota. She was called to the family phone, and there was a man with struggling English on the line. Gordette graduated and moved to the Twin Cities in the fall of 1964, and she and Tony began to date. And on January the 6th, 1968, Tony and Gordette were married, meaning that last week, on the very day of the siege of the Capitol building, Tony and Gordette celebrated 53 years of marriage. Tony and Gordette could not have come from more different backgrounds. And like any marriage, I'm sure there have been challenges for them. Yet their marriage tells a wonderful story that we can come from very different backgrounds, but that if we put the best of who we are forward, that if we exercise care and respect and forgiveness, there can be a beautiful union. Now, of course, city government does not need to be or look like a blessed marriage. But if we can come from our different backgrounds, and if we put the best of who we are forward, well, we can continue to create a city and a dwelling that is good and vibrant and welcoming and growing, even as we experience and work through the bumps and hardships of our shared life together. I thank each of you for the great service and skill and humanity you offer our city of Wilmer. I pray that 2021 can be a coming together year for our city, our country, and our world. Thank you for being leaders and for being such a big part of making Wilmer be the best she can be from the many diverse backgrounds of our community. I close with a word of prayer. Almighty God, bless the public servants in the government of this city, Wilmer. Lead and guide Mayor Marv, council members Andrew, Audrey, Julie, Justin, Michael, Rick, Thomas, and Vicky, and all city staff and employees, that they may do their work in a spirit of wisdom, kindness, courage, justice, and goodwill. Help them use their authority to serve faithfully and to promote our common life together. All this we pray, God, in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Dahl, for that great invocation and a story that really touches our hearts. I'm not sure there are any of us going to be here 53 years, but Rick may give it a run. So with that, thank you for your kind words and your invocation and your challenge to us to work collaboratively for the betterment of our city. Next on the agenda, we have proposed additions or deletions to the agenda. Does the council have any additions or deletions they wish to offer at this time? Hearing and seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Osmus, second.
Motion by Fagerly, seconded by Osmus. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Fagerly,
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
sorry,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
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 8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Pastor Dahl, if you wish to stay with us, you certainly are more than welcome. If you wish to pass up this tremendous opportunity, it's up to you. But we know your time is valuable. But if you'd like to stick around, we certainly would enjoy having you. So
I'm going to sign off. Have a great meeting. Blessings for the year ahead.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the consideration of council reorganization resolutions. The first resolution we have to consider is the position of Mayor Pro Tem for the 2 years of 2021 and 2022. I did speak with the city attorney earlier today, and we will call the question 3 times. At the conclusion of the 3 times, we will act on any motions that may be in front of the council, with City Clerk Thompson being the presider or tabulator of the votes, along with the city administrator. So at this time, the position of Mayor Pro Tem is open. Are there nominations? Councilmember Nelson, and followed by Butterfield. Councilmember Nelson.
Mayor Calvin, I would nominate Rick Fagerly.
Councilmember Butterfield.
I would nominate Andrew Plowman.
For the position of Mayor Pro Tem, are there additional candidates that wish to be considered? For the position of Mayor Pro Tem, the third and final call, are there additional candidates that wish to be considered for Mayor Pro Tem? Seeing and hearing none, I will defer to the city attorney to walk us through the next steps. City Attorney Scott.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. As those on the council previously will recall, for election of officers on the council when the meetings were in person, the council's practice was to vote on the nominees for a given office by paper ballot. Those ballots were then initialed because under the open meeting law, it's required that the city maintain a record of the vote and a record of how each council member voted. Thereafter, upon request, the media and any member of the public who wished to review the vote tally was given access to that information promptly after the meeting. We are in a obviously more challenging environment to do something like that today. The idea that has been proposed is to use the chat function, and for each council member to vote anytime there are multiple candidates, more candidates nominated than there are spaces, offices, and that's the case for Mayor Pro Tem. The suggestion is that each council member should use the private chat with City Clerk Thompson and send your choice for Mayor Pro Tem to City Clerk Thompson, who will then record the tally from each council member, announce the results, and maintain a record of how each council member voted that could be produced upon request following this meeting. This is, I think, the closest approximation of the council's process that we will come up with today, and it similarly satisfies the requirement that the council maintain a record of this roll call vote. Are there any questions, and does anyone have any need any assistance using the chat function to send a message just to City Clerk Thompson?
I do. I have no idea.
So if anyone else is more adept at using GoToMeeting than me, feel free to jump in if I'm making this sound too difficult. But along the top of the window for the GoToMeeting app, there should be like a speech bubble. It's right in between the icon with two people indicating the number of participants in this meeting and the settings button. So it's on the upper right-hand portion of the meeting. Now, I'm looking at this myself, and I know that this has worked before, but I see. And if you are able to open the chat window, there's an option at the very bottom of that window that says either send to everyone or allows you to select any of the participants in the meeting. And I can then select City Clerk Thompson from that list, enter a message into the dialog box, click send, and that should go directly to City Clerk Thompson and nobody else. And a record will then appear for the city clerk to review. Is that Has everyone been able to find that function in this app? And if so, I would recommend that each council member.
I have to close the nominations first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just having you give the directions.
Okay, thanks.
At this time, we have two individuals nominated for the position of Mayor Pro Tem, and I would entertain a motion to cease nominations for the position of Mayor Pro Tem.
Osmus, I'll make that motion.
Davis, second.
Motion by Osmus, seconded by Davis to cease nominations. At this time, follow the instructions that you have been given and send through the chat, send your message to Clerk Thompson. And Clerk Thompson, advise when you have received all 8 of the respondents. Again, it's Council Members Fagerly and Council Members Plowman who are candidating for this position. For the new council members, the mayor does not vote. Councilmember O'Brien.
This may be a little regular, but I really don't care if I vote anonymously or not. Does it make any difference if I just say who I want to vote for? Or do I have to follow the chat?
That's a question for the city attorney.
Certainly the only requirement for the city is that the city maintain a record of this vote and how each council member voted. So if any council member would prefer to just vote verbally or audibly directly, so City Clerk Thompson can hear your vote and record it, that also works.
Okay. I vote for Rick Fagerly. Judy, did you hear that? Good. Thank you.
Mayor, I am waiting for one council person left to vote.
Could you send them a message in the chat so that they can respond back to your message, please? So you select that individual, send them a message, and then they could respond back to you.
I'm sure you're waiting for me, but I'm going to abstain then, okay? Because I can't figure this out.
City Attorney Scott, would it be possible for Councilmember Fagerly to text his message to the city administrator? Could you do that? Send a text, Councilmember Fagerly? Can we do that? That was something else we talked about, of having you and Mr. Gramitz and Judy involved. I'm sorry, Ms. Thompson involved.
As long as the vote is identifiable to the council member and can show up in the official record of the meeting, yes.
These votes are important, particularly in a reorganization setting. And I think it's important that everybody who wishes to vote, votes.
Okay, I'll vote for myself then.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I have the final tally for
I
council
think you only
member.
have to, I think you only have to report the top vote getter, correct? And then have available for record, Mr. Scott?
My recollection is that the city clerk would typically announce the vote, the totals for each, but I think the only thing that would be required is to announce who was selected, and obviously then the record would would show each member's vote if anyone requested it, and then in the official minutes. But it's also possible I'm not remembering.
I don't remember either. Ms. Thompson, report how you wish to.
Okay. In the past, we have reported just like a roll call, the number of votes. So there are 6 votes for Councilmember Fagerly to be the Mayor Pro Tem and 2 for Councilmember Plowman.
Councilmember Fagerly, congratulations on being selected as Mayor Pro Tem. You have to work with me again.
Thank you very much. It's not that bad working with you. So, thank you to the other council members.
We can get through it, right? Okay, the next order of business is adoption of the rules of order. I will take a motion and a second to adopt the set rules of order as required by city charter. Is there anybody that wishes to make a motion on the rules of order?
Osmus, I'll make a motion to adopt the set rules of order as required by the city charter.
Nelson, second.
So you have to identify the rules you wish to use.
We use Robert's rules of order, don't we?
That would be your choice. That's not what we've used in the past, but you certainly can state Robert's rules of order if you wish.
I'll second that.
Well, whichever one we presently use.
If I can jump in, Mayor, yes, the city clerk is displaying the
Standard
code of parliamentary procedure, the standard code of parliamentary procedure that has been used by the council for several council cycles, at least.
and that was exactly my motion, to use the standard rules of whatever the standard code of parliamentary procedure. Yeah, that's what I said.
Motion by Osmus, seconded by Nelson. Are there additional recommendations for rules of order? Councilmember O'Brien.
I move to use Robert's rules, and I'll just real quick make an explanation of why. Remember 3 years ago, we had Jefferson Center and Hamlin University study. I was one of those 31 And one of the things that we found was we needed clarity. We needed to be able to get information out that the people understood. 95%, and I did a lot of checking locally, 95% of parliamentary procedure is Robert's Rule that's used. A lot of people understand that. It's very simple to understand. Almost all your school boards use Robert's Rule. Many other organizations within Wilmer, the college, I checked some others. Again, what we found out in that, and I think we brought that information to Mayor Calvin and to also Administrator Grummitz. I think they came out and got that information from us, some of the findings that we had. And that was one of the things, was trying to make things more clear to the public. And by doing that, we talked about going back to Robert's Rules. So that's why I suggest Robert's Rule.
Is there a second to Robert's Rules of Order? Councilmember Nelson.
Mayor Calvin, we have a motion and a second on the floor already. So is he asking to amend that?
Mr. Scott.
Mayor, members of the council, I would expect that a motion to adopt a rule of order, a particular set of rules of order, would be handled like a standard motion and not like an election among the council members. And my recommendation to the mayor as chair would be to have a vote on the first motion, which was the motion to use the standard code of parliamentary procedure, which had been the currently existing set of procedural rules. And if that fails, certainly it would be appropriate to entertain a motion for a different code, such as Robert's Rules.
So what you're saying is, once there's a motion, then there cannot be another motion following that?
You could ask, so from what I'm understanding, you could ask for the people who made the motion to consider what you just stated, Councilmember O'Brien. But what I'm being advised by the city attorney is that we need to act on the motion. You have offered an alternative under the discussion phrase of the motion. And so if the council so choose, they could vote this motion down and entertain a second motion. Is that correct?
That's kind of what I said. I wanted you to consider it. Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? Roll call.
Councilmember O'Brien,
No.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Osk,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Aye.
Yearly,
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
7 ayes, 1 nay.
That motion passes. Next, we have consideration to adopt a resolution that assigns the various member liaison appointments for the boards and commissions of the city. Mr. Grummitz, are you handling this or who's handling this?
Mr. Mayor, as I see the agenda, that the one that pops up on my screen is actually 10D. is the one that you read. The next one in line should actually be resolutions for appointments to the 4 committees of the city council.
Yeah, I'm
Labor.
hopping between screens here. I apologize. I'm having
Well,
trouble with my
It's
computer.
not showing up properly on my agenda either, but it is, that's the sequence that we have.
Okay, I'm going to, Councilmember Grammas, can you help me out here? I'm having trouble with my computer. My computer is not working properly. Could you help me with where I'm supposed to be, please?
You should be on 10C, resolution for appointments to 4 committees of the city council.
Okay, so we're on the 4 committees. The standing committees that the council has adopted by resolution are the committees of Public Works, Safety, Finance, Labor, and Community Development. In the past, how we have done this is we have taken people that wish to serve on those respective committees and handled it in one vote. And that is my desire to do as well this evening, is to handle it under one vote rather than handle each one separately. So Councilmember Thompson, going by seniority on the council, would you please ask, starting with Councilmember Fagerly, which committee he wishes to serve, and then go through until we have all 8 spots selected? Thank you.
Are you ready, Judy? Okay. I'm going to stay on finance and community development.
Next, most senior would be Council Member Nelson.
I would like to stay on finance and on public works.
Next senior is Osmus
Councilmember Plowman.
or Plowman. Okay.
Thank you. My preference would be to maintain the chair position of the Public Works, Public Safety, and if available, I would like to stay on finance as well. Thank you.
Then Council Member Osmus.
Public Works, Public Safety, and Finance.
Davis.
I'll stay on labor relations and community development.
Then we have O'Brien.
Be on public safety and finance.
Butterfield.
I can't find where it is at an agenda. It doesn't matter to me, but I would just like to be on ones that the committees meet after 4 o'clock. If Parks and Rec is after 4, I'd like to be on that one.
Ms. Thompson, I think your Public Works is full and your finance is full, correct?
Yes.
So then the remaining council members are just defaulted to the other 2 committees.
Okay. So what we have left, so we would have community development has 2 openings and labor has 3 openings. So O'Brien, you were last to say for finance, but that committee was already full.
Okay.
So if you want to pick between community development and labor at this point,
labor. Excuse me, let me change that. Community development.
okay, that is 1, 2, 3. Okay. Butterfield, we have 1 opening left on community development, and we have 3 openings on labor.
What time are those meetings at?
Community development is at 5:15 and labor is at 6:15. Currently, they are both on the same evening.
I'll go with the labor. I don't think you got anybody on there yet.
And then Councilmember Osk, we would have labor and 1 opening for community development.
He's froze up for me. Is he froze up for anybody else?
Yes.
Councilmember Osk, you may wish to, we have this, that happens occasionally, sign out and then sign back in. We'll wait for him. Yeah, I saw the hands going up, so hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
It's just kind of a basic question while we're waiting.
I believe he's signing back on. Councilmember Osmus, go ahead.
I was just wondering how we did the 3 new ones, if it was by ward. So Ward 1 went first, or was it by the person who got the most votes, or how was that selected?
It's supposed to be by the one who received the most votes is how it's supposed to be done. I had talked with the city attorney earlier today, and we had established how it was going to be done. So I assume that message had gotten to Ms. Thompson. So
No, I did not receive that message.
If I can chime in for a second, I'm not sure. I believe the question that Councilmember Osmus was asking is between the 3 newly elected council members, how were they decided? What was the order, and asking for their preferences? And I don't believe that's anything that I discussed with the mayor.
okay, I thought we talked about it. Okay.
I'm not sure what the fair way to do it would be.
I just took the order on the roll call sheet for tonight's meeting.
And no one went over the roll call sheet with me prior to tonight's meeting. So generally the roll call sheet is put together by seniority, with the mayor pro tem sitting immediately to the right of the mayor. And then it goes out from seniority based on the ward,
Mhm.
rotating between right and left. And because we're not meeting in person, those conversations have not yet happened. I don't have the, I mean, I guess I should have been prepared for this. I should have known it wouldn't have been done. So I should have prepared this. So it's my responsibility, and I failed the council in my actions. I apologize.
Yeah, I did organize the roll call sheet according to seniority and ward and precinct as for the seating chart. Not knowing who the mayor pro tem was, so we, if it would have were to change, then we would rearrange it again after this evening.
Okay, Councilmember Nelson, followed by Osmus, followed by the city administrator. Councilmember Nelson.
Thank you. The one thing I'm not quite sure if we're tracking with, but we've had one person from each ward on each committee so that we can cover for each other if someone can't make a meeting, that it's their responsibility to notify the other person from the ward. So I'm not quite tracking with kind of some of the placements of some of those with how we need to fill those. So I just want to make sure that each ward is represented on each committee.
Councilmember Osmus.
I was going to point out the same thing.
City Administrator Grammets.
Same issue.
I guess I should have handled this myself rather than delegating it. I apologize.
Mr. Mayor, each ward, the council people should have been talking among themselves and finding out what positions they wanted. I talked with Pastor Oss, and he was going to be on Public Works and Labor. I was going to be on Finance and Community Development. So we had ours worked out. So everyone else needs to work out between them. Then we can go from there.
Ward 2 is good.
Well, I didn't write down where people were going. Let's take a recess. Let's take a 5-minute recess. We're in recess.
Judy, which do you have me on right now? Mike O'Brien.
I have you on community development and public works, and I'm just figuring out the wards here right now.
Okay. Community development and public works, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew is on
Public Works.
Public Works, so
We're good.
No.
no.
Yeah, so we would have to have O'Brien switch, but we'll wait for the mayor to recall the meeting to order.
I'm wondering if he didn't want to just recess to have us figure this out.
Yes.
Administrator Grammets, would that be okay if I share with which committees need someone from a different ward?
That would be totally appropriate.
Okay. Currently, labor relations, we have Davis, Butterfield, and Osk. We need someone from Ward 1. The Finance Committee has someone from each ward represented. The Community Development Committee needs someone from Ward 4. And Public Works needs someone from Ward 3. O'Brien Plowman is already on there, so you would have to pick a different, you would have to be up on labor. You're on community development and labor then, because we're needing someone from Ward 1 up on labor unless Andrew wants to switch.
That's fine. I'm good
We'll
with
go
that.
up to labor.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
You bet.
Okay. Then I need someone from Ward 3 on Public Works. And Ward 3 would be Councilmember Osk or Fagerly.
No, it's us.
And
So-
Fagerly's already on too, so we'll put Osk. And then the community development, I need someone from Ward 4, which would be Butterfield. So you would have your two committees then. So Butterfield, you would be on labor and community development. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's the same night though, isn't it? Are they
They
gonna?
are the same night. One's at 5:15 and one's at 6:15.
Yeah, that's fine with me if they're not gonna overlap.
No, they don't. They have to.
Am I
Could you-
correct that we will actually rework new schedules for the 4 people on the committees? Because I currently can't meet at either of the times of my committees.
What day is labor meet, Judy?
Labor typically meets on a Monday. Labor and community development are Mondays. Public works safety is Wednesday. Finance is Thursday.
But I think Osk can assume that they will have to schedule around the 4 members.
Thank you.
It is what we did the last, when we reinstated committees, we worked with the people on the committees.
So Judy, what time does Public Works meet? On Wednesdays?
5 or 5:15.
I would have to work that out on Wednesday.
The actual scheduling of the committees would need to be worked out for the members, and then a resolution be adopted for all the different times to set that in concrete, so to speak, as your schedule. And then that schedule is then posted and becomes just like the regular schedule of the city council. So you don't have to worry about people not knowing about it. And that can come afterwards.
Yep.
So I have someone from each ward represented on each of the 4 committees at this time.
Can you read off who they are on each one, please?
Certainly. Labor, we have O'Brien, Davis, Butterfield, and Osk. Finance, we have Osmus, Fagerly, Nelson, Plowman. Community Development, Butterfield, Fagerly, Davis, O'Brien. Public Works Safety, Plowman, Nelson, Osmus, and Osk.
I think I switched from community development to labor, didn't I? For Andrew? No.
Yes, did I read your name? I'm sorry, I have you crossed off. It's Plowman for Public Works Safety, Plowman, Nelson, Osmus, and Osk.
Okay.
O'Brien, you are on Community Development and Labor.
All right.
Okay, if we have all the council members back, we can resume working on the committee assignments. And we were in recess So we can now resume that discussion.
If I may, Mayor, I would recommend that City Clerk Thompson, again, for the record, since we are back in, the meeting has been reconvened, just go through the 4 committees quickly, reading off the 4 council members for each committee, after which there would be 1 vote on the resolution making all of those appointments.
Ms. Thompson.
Okay. Mayor and members of the council, for the Labor Relations Committee, we have O'Brien, Davis, Butterfield, and Osk. On the Finance Committee, we have Osmus, Fagerly, Nelson, and Plowman. Community Development, we have Fagerly, Davis, O'Brien, and Butterfield. Public Works Safety, we have Plowman, Nelson, Osmus, and Osk. And that would conclude the four committees. We do have, the resolution does list chair and vice chair. Is that something we'd like to designate at this point, or that'll be in the future?
Right, normally that's done when the committee gets together, they select their own chair and vice chair, and then they bring back to the council at the next meeting who the chair and vice chair are.
Okay,
And we make
that's what
that
I
part
was,
of the record.
okay, that's what I was
That's my
thinking, but I
recollection
noticed.
anyways, unless anybody remembers differently. So we have the committee assignments as stated by Ms. Thompson. Is there a motion to adopt that slate as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Nelson, second.
Motion by Fagerly, seconded by Nelson to approve the slate of council members as recited by Clerk Thompson. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Butterfield,
Aye.
Osk,
Aye.
Aye.
Plowman,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Fagerly,
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
and
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Next, we have for council consideration is a resolution that assigns the various member liaison appointments for boards and commissions of the city of Wilmer. These boards and commissions, some of them are full voting members and others are liaisons. And the responsibility of a liaison is to observe the meeting, report to the city council, but to not vote on the board or commission at their meetings. And so the positions that we have, and I will start at the top. Ms. Thompson, are you prepared to document the names that are coming up for these?
Yes, I am, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, the first position is the EDC Joint Powers Board. And for that board, I would recommend Councilmember Osmus, Councilmember Davis, and myself to serve on that board. Is there any other council members who wish to serve on that board? Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to hop around here. I'm going to do this a little different, Ms. Thompson. I'm just going to kind of take and run it. And if I'm doing something wrong, tell me. Human Rights Commission, who would like to serve on the Human Rights Commission? Please state your name.
Mayor Calvin,
Councilmember Nelson and Councilmember Davis.
I was just asking for clarification. I think it would be helpful for people to know who have been serving on that board and who was like on the EDC board with who you're putting on the board. Because I think some of them we didn't necessarily know or remember who's on there. So would that be something you'd be willing to do?
Ms. Thompson, do you have that information? I don't have the information.
I do not have that information available, no.
I had it earlier, but I don't have it with me currently. I had it last week. I went over it with the city administrator and Ms. Summers, but I don't have that with me this evening. The EDC board, I can tell you who was on that before. It was Ms. Osmus, or Councilmember Osmus, Councilmember Alvarado, and Councilmember Schwantes were on it before.
Mr. Mayor, the human rights, Vicky Davis and Sean Muskie. So,
Councilmember Osk.
I think
Osk.
ask.
Did I say it right this time?
I think so. Yeah, I'm used to answering when it's mispronounced too, but I gotta at least make an effort. I would be interested in serving on human rights.
So we have Council Members Davis and Councilmember, say it for me one time again. Osk?
It's ask.
Osk. Ms. Thompson, you have that? I'm toggling between here. Fire Code Appeals Board. That was Council Members Plowman and Alvarado.
and they
I
did
will-
a good job, Mr. Mayor.
It's
They
an
never-
important job. You have a lot of meetings. Have you ever met Councilmember Plowman?
I do believe, yes, I do believe that we have, but it is rare. So I would entertain the idea of being on that one again.
Somebody, Councilmember Butterfield wishes to serve on that as well. Next, we have the Mid-Minnesota Development Commission. That was Councilmember Meskey.
No, it was me, Mr. Mayor. He represented the college.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Fagerly, you wish to remain there?
I can stay there.
Next, we have Vision 2040 Steering Committee. That was Councilmember Schwantes.
Osmus, I could go on that one.
Councilmember Osmus. Next, we have Central Community Transit Board, currently being held by Councilmembers Fagerly and Osmus.
And I'm willing to go off that.
I'm willing to stay on.
So Central Community Transit is our transit. It's a 3-county transit board. They do very important work. It's a meeting, I believe, are they still meeting 4 times a year? Okay, so they meet quarterly. And they generally meet at 9 in the morning, and they rotate sites between Wilmer, Litchfield, and Olivia. We need one more person for that position. Councilmember Osk. Osk, are you willing to serve on that board?
I sure can.
Thank you. Next, we have Pioneer Library, and that is currently held by Councilmember Osmus.
I will continue on that one because I also just got put on the executive board for finance.
Okay. Next, we have Wilmer Cable Advisory Board. Someone's going to have to help me who's on that. I believe it was Alvarado and somebody else, or maybe Davis. Okay, Alvarado and Davis, I believe. So Butterfield, are you willing to serve on that board?
Yes.
So it'll be Councilmember Davis and Butterfield. Next, we had Wilmer Convention and Visitors Bureau. I believe that's Councilmember Nelson. Are you wishing to remain there?
Yes, I would, please.
Okay. Now I'm gonna have to move my page here. Have patience with me. You guys are doing good so far of helping me in my inability to do my job tonight. Intergovernmental Planning and Communication Committee. This is the group that meets with the school district, the county, and the city. And it's to have open communication between the agencies. And we were meeting quarterly. And in the past, the mayor was on that, Councilmember Schwantes was on that. And I'm trying to remember who else. And I believe Councilmember Nelson, you were an alternate to that, correct? Oh, shoot. No, what did I do? Oh, no. Oh.
Mayor Calvin, I would be
Oh, my
interested
bad.
in considering that one.
I'm sorry?
I said I would be interested in considering that one if needed.
Councilmember Nelson. Plowman, did I see your hand up as well?
Oh, no, I think I was just, I was kind of chiming in with you because I think I saw what you saw. But yeah, if necessary, I'd be willing to entertain that one as well.
And they meet at 4 o'clock, and generally they meet on a, if I recall, they meet 4 o'clock on a Tuesday, and they meet quarterly. We need one more individual, and then we need an alternate. Councilmember O'Brien, and we need an alternate. Councilmember Nelson, I think you were the alternate before. Were you ever called? Okay.
Maybe I remember going to one of them, or was I just filling in for Kathy once?
I think you covered for Councilmember Schwantes
Oh.
one time.
Okay.
So we need one more person there.
We need 4 on that one? Or what, who do we have?
We need an alternate. So what we have right now is we have council members Nelson, Plowman, O'Brien, and an alternate as Davis. Is that what you have, Ms. Thompson? Okay, I messed everything up here. What's the
Yes.
next one I have to look at?
Well, actually, I was going to mention in order of the resolution, there was still some at the bottom. The
Can you read
airport
them
park
off
and
for me as I try to find my information back? I'm toggling
Certainly.
between screens here.
we go back in the order airport commission, and there's one person and an alternate needed.
And in the past, that was Councilmember Plowman, and I don't know who the alternate was.
I'm unaware of who the alternate was either, but I'm happy to stay there.
Can we get an alternate to that, please? Somebody step up. State your name.
Ask.
Ask. Okay. I think I'm back to where I'm supposed to be here. Now we're to the Park and Recreation Board. That was council members Alvarado and Osmus, if I remember correctly.
No, Bagley and Osmus.
Bagley and Osmus, do you two wish to remain?
Yes.
Stay there.
Okay. And then the next we have is Municipal Utilities Commission. The primary there was Councilmember Meske, and I believe the alternate was Councilmember Plowman. Who wishes to serve on that?
I'll go for the alternate.
Councilmember Butterfield for the alternate. Councilmember Butterfield, that is a noon meeting. And they meet every 2 weeks, but as an alternate, Councilmember Plowman, I don't know, did you ever attend as an alternate?
Sean was pretty fastidious about attending those meetings. That's a really hard time for me because if and when business resumes as normal again, during the day, I'm usually on the road.
Yeah, and that noon is gonna be tough for me too.
So we need someone that's going to be able to commit to that, to attending that meeting, if you're going to step up to that one.
Mr. Mayor, I guess I can do it. Bagley.
Councilmember Fagerly with an alternate of Butterfield. Councilmember Plowman, you're okay with that, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Rick.
Yep.
Next, we have Candioi County HRA. The primary on that has been Councilmember Nelson, and the alternate was Schwantes.
Mayor Calvin, I would like to stay there, please.
Who would like to serve as the alternate? Again, Councilmember Nelson. Councilmember Davis will serve as the alternate. Next, we have Rice Hospital Board. Councilmember Nelson is the representative, the liaison, and the alternate again was Councilmember Schwantes.
I would request to stay on that one also, please.
Councilmember Plowman, did you wish to serve on that one? Did I see your hand up?
I'd be willing to serve as the alternate in that position, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Ms. Thompson, are we getting some, we're spreading out these committees. I mean, we don't have one person monopolizing them. It's one thing that I'm not writing down, so I'm assuming you're watching that.
So far, we're getting spread out. We have Nelson on 3.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we're getting kind of spread out, so we
Okay,
just
so we
have
got
2
the
left.
Intergovernmental Planning Communication Committee done. So we have a Wilmer Community and Activity Center, and that's been Councilmember Osmus, and I don't know who your alternate was. Councilmember Osmus.
What time does that one meet at, Mayor?
Councilmember Osmus, does that one meet during the day, right? 10 o'clock?
I'm not sure which one this was. Maybe this is the one I was thinking of. That only.
It was a community.
This is the community center one.
Oh, that's me.
That's you, right? But who was your alternate? Do you remember? Was it Alvarado?
Mayor Calvin?
Councilmember
Mayor Calvin?
Councilmember Nelson.
I believe the park department dismissed that group. I don't think there is a group that actually meets as the activities or community center council.
How could
I thought we were on the Intergovernmental Planning and Communication Committee.
No, we're past that one.
Okay.
We already had that one. That's the one I jumped at, and then Ms. Thompson moved us back.
Okay. And I think that Councilmember Nelson is correct that what we have now is the Community Center Task Force, having to do with the Invest in Wilmer.
Mayor Calvin, I just know there were some people who were unhappy that that group was just halted. I don't know any other particulars about it.
Well, I didn't even know it was halted, so you're ahead of me. Mr. Gramitz, can you find out if they abolished that group or what happened? Let's leave that one open and we'll deal with it next week, next meeting, next week if we have to, on Tuesday. And then we have I'm sorry. Councilmember Osmus.
I'm on the Community Center Task Force, and I was on the Community Center Board. And I would be willing to stay there, but we'll figure out what they have.
Sure. Yeah, I thought they were still meeting. I didn't know they weren't meeting anymore, but.
No.
Next, we have Main Street and an alternate. I believe Councilmember Davis was on that, and I don't know who was on that with her. You know who your alternate was? Davis and who?
My alternate was Sean Muskie.
Someone who wishes to serve in that position.
I can be the alternate, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Ms. Thompson, I believe I've hit the list. would the council like that recited, or this will be reduced to writing and will be in our next council packet? And at that point, you would be able to find out which group you were in. Mr. Gramitz.
Mr. Mayor and City Council members, I just verified with the Park and Rec Director that that committee has no longer ceased to meet.
Okay, so we didn't put anybody there, so that's a good thing. Anything else that, do we want to have her recite those, or is everybody good? If everybody's good, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Osmus, I make a motion to approve those committee assignments.
Nelson, I can second.
Motion by Osmus, seconded by Nelson to approve the committee selection. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Osk,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Plowman,
Aye.
Aye.
Fagerly,
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
ayes 0 nays.
That motion carries. Next, we have the Invest in Wilmer, City Hall Task Force, and Stormwater Management Committees. Someone with a better memory than me can maybe explain what the Stormwater Management Committee is. But I guess it was held by Councilmember Schwantes, but I don't know what that position is or was. Councilmember Nelson. You're muted, ma'am.
I apologize. I'm a little bit confused with the Invest in Wilmer board also. I think there were just 2 council members that were on that one because each council member had been assigned to an Invest in Wilmer group. And so when I saw 4 lines there, I wasn't quite sure what that was with that. And the Stormwater Management Committee was part of that Invest in Wilmer assignment for board members. So I was curious with how that was going to work.
Well, what we had talked about last week is that we would have the 2 board member positions, and then we would have 1 council member serve on each of them like we had done before. And then when the agenda went out, the stormwater management position showed up, and then I asked a question about that and was told that was Councilmember Schwantes. So that would then equalize what my recollection had been, but is similar to yours. So what we need is we need 2 people to serve on the steering committee, and the steering committee meets on Wednesdays. I believe they meet about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They meet for about an hour. And so that position currently is being held by Council Members Nelson and was held by Council Member Meskey. So if
Mayor
there's
Calvin, I would be interested in staying on that one.
anybody else who wish to serve on that committee?
Good question. Is that committee, we're talking about Stormwater Management Committee, has that got something to do with the storm management funding issue that's going on right now?
Yeah, that stormwater committee is a subset under the local option sales tax. And so what we're looking for now is somebody to be on the oversight group, if you will. It's the steering committee. There's 2 members of the council, the city administrator, and the mayor have served on that in the past. So we're looking for 1 more council member. If you're interested in that stormwater piece, then you would want to be that stormwater management committee member. That's what you'd want to be. That's your question.
So
Councilmember Osmer.
what day and what time do they meet?
Those meetings, the steering committee meeting,
Yes,
generally Wednesdays at 4.
storm management committee.
Stormwater management meets at the will of the city engineer. And so they have in the past met quite frequently, but I don't believe that there's anything planned now for meetings, intense meetings that are coming up. I think they just kind of do a checkup every once in a while. They send an email around, I believe. I'm not positive.
I would be on the storm management committee.
Okay, Councilmember Osmus, you had your hand up.
Well, I was just wondering if it wouldn't be easier to explain that out of the 8 city council members, is there 6 committees for the Invest in Wilmer projects. So if you're not going to be on the main group, then you're going to have to be on one of the other ones. You're going to have something to do with the Invest in Wilmer. And so I had Event Center, Stormwater, Ball Fields, Community Center, Robbins Island, and which one am I missing then?
Swanson Field.
Isn't that the Ball Fields?
Swanson
Oh,
Field.
no, that's part of the, okay, Swanson. What's the name of the one for out at the Civic Center for the fields?
Rec fields.
Rec fields. Okay.
Councilmember Nelson.
It might be helpful just to see which council members want to stay where they're at so that we know which ones we have left to fill in.
We can do it however the council wishes to do it. These are the council's committees. The mayor's trying to facilitate the conversation. I had told my wife this meeting would be no more than a half an hour, and we're at an hour and 20 minutes.
I'm sorry, I don't care, but
however we can do it easiest. I'm all for making it easy. These are the council's committees. They are not the mayor's.
Okay. Okay. Somebody just has to lead it to explain who's on the different ones and which ones are open.
Is the City Hall Task Force, have you looked for a position there yet?
We're not to that one yet. We're still trying to fill the Invest in Wilmer one.
All right, well, we're bouncing
What
around.
time is the Invest in Wilmer one?
So,
Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go back to where I was, and I haven't gotten off that spot yet, and that is I need someone else to serve with Councilmember Nelson on the steering committee. This is how we did it last time, was we filled the steering committee first, and then we went out to the other ones. So I need one more person to serve on the Invest in Wilmer steering committee.
What time does that one meet in the day?
That meets at 4 o'clock, generally on Wednesdays.
Mr. Mayor, maybe what you could do is move past this and maybe let some people think about this until we meet in a week from now, and maybe they'd be willing to maybe check their schedule and volunteer at the next meeting.
Okay, let's do it this way. That's a good suggestion, Councilman, City Administrator Gromitz. If you are, could either yourself or Ms. Summers send an email out to the council explaining the positions? And then if you're currently on a committee, you wish to stay there, you certainly are more than willing to do that if that's what your wish is. Councilmember Davis, I know that, Councilmember Davis.
Well, I'm wondering if we should say the committee we're on already and if we want to stay there because that will make less openings. Could just be that we need to fill for the council members who just left.
And that's what I was trying to do and not getting any takers. So, okay, let's do it that way. Councilmember Fagerly, what committee do you serve on? Do you wish to stay?
I'm on Swanson Field and I'll stay there.
Councilmember Nelson.
I'm on the Invest in, what's it called? Invest in Wilmer
Invest in
Board?
Wilmer Steering Committee.
Steering Committee, and I'm willing to stay there.
Councilmember Osmus.
I'm on the community center and I would like to stay there.
Councilmember Plowman.
I'm on the Athletic Field Subcommittee, and I would like to stay there.
Councilmember Davis.
I'm on the event center committee and I will stay there as well.
So the positions we have open are Robbins Island, the Steering Committee, and
Stormwater.
Stormwater. And O'Brien said he would take Stormwater.
Right.
When does Robbins Island meet?
Robbins Island meets as needed, and it's generally been a Zoom conference, and I haven't been invited to the last ones. They're getting well on their way of having that project completed, I believe, Mr. Gramitz. Can you give a little guidance there on when they're meeting?
Yeah, for the benefit of everybody, the first half of the project was the construction project was bid and let, and they're currently working on the shelters, and they've got a plan put together for the second part already. So any involvement should be relatively short. I would think that the project would be done, this coming summer.
I'd take that.
Okay, Mr. Butterfield, by elimination, you're on the steering committee. And don't worry about when the meeting is. Make it if you can, if you can't. I would like the council to consider to allow the mayor to have voting rights at that. The mayor hasn't had voting rights at that in the past, and the reason that we had it so the mayor had no voting rights is that's what we had to do to get it passed. So I would like the council to reconsider that if the mayor could have voting rights at that meeting, along with the city administrator. It would make things a lot easier. Next, is anybody willing to agree to that or not?
How, is that a motion or how do we make that happen?
Well, you could do it all at one time when you accept the positions, but Councilmember Nelson.
It would feel like that's something that group should probably review. I'm not quite sure if I understand why you want Mr. Gramitz to have a voting right too. I think that's a complicated group.
I will rescind my request. I'm trying to get through this without controversy. I'm trying to start the year off in a positive fashion, and we're not headed that direction. It's very discouraging. Next, we have the City Hall Task Force members. We need 4 members for that.
Osmus.
Mayor, can you state the times of these so we kind of know to kind of fit in our schedules?
The City Hall Task Force meets, they met at when it was possible to meet with the chair, set the meetings to when people could meet. The chair is no longer on the council. Councilmember Schwantes was the chair. So we need 3 people added to that in addition to council. I don't remember who the other person was. We need 4 people on that. Councilmember Osmus.
Osmus, I was the vice chair.
Okay.
I'll stay on it.
Okay, so we have O'Brien's willing to serve on that. Nelson's willing to serve on that. Davis and Butterfield.
I have a question. I'm not looking to serve on it. I have a question.
Go ahead.
In light of where we're at with City Hall, I really wonder if this isn't something that the full council shouldn't review with get an up to date with where we're at before we go back to the task force. The last I knew about City Hall, we were looking at some options and we've not gotten a report back on that. And it was put on hold because of financing. I would like for this council to deal with it before we go back to a task force. That's just a thought to make it easier for all of us to understand where we are and to keep the communication open before we go back to the task force. I
certainly would speak in favor of that direction as well. What we were attempting to do as the administrator, myself, and Ms. Summers was to reestablish the committees as the council had selected. I certainly would not speak against going away from the City Hall Task Force. And if you want to make that motion, and if there were a second, the council could certainly do that. We were just trying to fill the positions that were there.
I would make a motion to put the City Hall Task Force on hold for right now until the City Council has a chance to review the current status of the City Hall proposals.
Second. Plowman.
Made and seconded. Additional discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Alman,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Aye.
Asmus,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Ask.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. We have the people in place for the Invest in Wilmer committee, and I would entertain a motion to approve those individuals to serve in that area.
So moved. Plowman.
Nelson, second.
Motion by Plowman, second by Nelson, to approve the Invest in Wilmer committees as recorded by Ms. Thompson. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Plowman,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Bagley,
Aye.
Asmus,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Ask,
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Next, Mr. Gramitz, if you could handle this one, please. Next, we have the committee, the council meeting dates. And I believe we stated earlier that for the committees will get together and select their times and dates and come back to the next meeting and state those next Tuesday. But can you go over the requirements for the city council meetings, Mr. Gramitz?
As identified in the action form, the semi-monthly meetings will be held on the first and third Mondays, with the exception if there's a holiday on the first and third Monday, which then will be scheduled on the next Tuesday. The regular place of said meetings will be the boardroom of the Health and Human Services Building at 2200 23rd Street Northeast in Wilmer. And obviously, as we are recognizing tonight with the go-to format during peacetime or wartime, for all that matters, city council meetings may be held at alternate locations or by a virtual format or by any other means allowed by law. And some of the rules that have been in place is that the city council shall meet no later than 11 p.m. at night. An item of business under consideration at 11 p.m. may be disposed. Business from the first meeting of the month will be carried over to the second meeting if necessary. Any business not completed on the second meeting of the month, which is urgent, must have action, will be adjourned to a special meeting.
Then I think the only thing
So
that
moved.
you may have
Plowman.
said it, but I didn't hear it, is that if the meeting falls on a Monday, we move it to the following, or a holiday, then we move it to the following day. You may have said it, I may have just missed it. Motion by Plowman, is there a second to that motion?
Nelson, second.
Seconded by Nelson. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Hagerly,
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
and O'Brien.
Aye. You're cutting out when you say my name.
Oh, sorry. Butterfield,
Aye.
Tusk,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Bowman.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Councilmember Plowman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that the council resumes in-person meetings effective the first Monday of February, February 1st.
There's a motion on the table to resume in-person meetings on February 1st. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Councilmember Davis. Additional discussion. Councilmember Nelson.
Just seeking staff clarification. I thought I had been told that the requirements for the county, that we were too many people to follow the requirements that the county had set up. So I'm just seeking clarification on that.
Mr. Mayor and City Council members, I'm not quite sure that I have seen anything that actually indicates that. I have had communication when COVID first was coming our way, that because the city and county were meeting in that room, that even though all other entities were not allowed to use that space, the city was still allowed. And then we did meet back there for a few times. And I did receive an email within the last week that said, yeah, we're still not letting other groups in, but that didn't apply to the city of Wilmer. And secondly, because they put in new entry doors, we got to figure out some way to allow them to be open for us to come in during non-business hours. So, I mean, that's just a technical aspect of getting the doors to open and close. So at this point in time, I'm of the understanding that we could meet if we so desired. But I can verify that.
Councilmember Nelson.
If we approve this, I asked for this last time too, that the protocols be sent out to the council to have an understanding with how we need to follow through with the guidelines and what the requirements are out at the county building.
Additional discussion. Is anybody wanting to, as we did last time, keep the option open for remote if council members wish to do that? Because this motion states that we will meet in person.
I would amend the motion to allow that to take place also.
I would accept that friendly amendment.
Seconder, Davis?
Second.
Okay, so we have a friendly amendment that has been attached. I don't think it's paramount to the question because that's what the council did in the past. I'm going to defer to our city attorney, Mr. Scott. Is that paramount to the question or not?
What I have is a motion to resume in-person meetings that the motioner and seconder have agreed would keep the option for any council member who so desired to be able to attend remotely for the time being.
Correct. And we make it one simple motion, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Additional discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Fagerly,
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Osk,
Aye.
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 Nelson.
Aye.
Ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Ms. Thompson, when you're reciting the names, certain times you're facing your computer and other times you're facing away and you're really cutting out. So if you can make sure you're facing your computer when you're calling the name, it would just make it easier for those individuals, I think. I'm not trying to chastise you, I'm just trying to be helpful. So next we have to determine the official newspaper. The only newspaper that qualifies is the West Central Tribune because of their circulation and their coverage. I would recommend the council consider the West Central Tribune. If you wish to have a discussion about this, we certainly can do that. But I believe that we've been through this enough times that the West Central Tribune is the paper that we need to establish. But it's up to the council, it's not up to the mayor. Is there a motion?
Osmus, I'll make that motion to have West Central Tribune be our newspaper for distribution.
Plowman second.
Motion by Osmus, seconded by Plowman. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Osmus,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Usk,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
Ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Next is our data practices authority, and the city clerk is the person that holds that position for the city. And it's the mayor's recommendation that the council consider keeping Ms. Thompson as our data practices individual. The city administrator is briefed on a monthly basis from the city clerk on any ongoing data practices requests, and that information is handled by the city administrator and Ms. Thompson. I'm sorry, the city clerk. So I would encourage the council to consider keeping Ms. Thompson as the official data practices person of record. I'd entertain a motion if someone wishes to make that or something else. Councilmember Fager.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Councilmember Fagerly makes the motion, seconded by O'Brien. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember O'Brien,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Usk,
Aye. Aye.
Usk,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Bauman,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Fagerly,
Aye.
Osmus.
Aye.
Ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Next, we have the consent items. Ms. Thompson.
On tonight's consent agenda, we have for council's approval the city council minutes of December 21st, Wilmer Municipal Utilities Commission minutes of December 28th, Planning Commission minutes of December 16th, the accounts payable report for December 17th through December 31st of 2020. For council's acceptance, the building report for the month of December 2020, and the Park and Recreation Board minutes of November 24th.
Looking for a motion to approve the consent items.
Nelson.
Move to approve,
motion
Plowman.
approved. Second.
Motion made by Nelson, seconded by Plowman to approve the consent items. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Butterfield,
Aye.
Usk,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Being no other business to come before the council, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Osmus, so moved.
Motion by Osmus, seconded by Plowman. We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.